Hello, welcome to Local Edition. I'm Leslie Leyton. We often say things without thinking, but still those words can have real power. With us now to talk about the R word is Assemblyman Allan Mansoor. Thank you very much for being
Leslie.
here. Now the R word, do you want to say the word?
Sure. Well, yeah, you're referring to a bill I put forward, and as you know, we just finished the end of a 2-year session, and one of the bills that I was very successful in putting forward is a bipartisan bill, and it's AB 2370. We're calling it the R word. We're actually calling it the Shriver R Word Act, and what it does is it replaces the term mentally retarded, which some people find offensive if it's used in a derogatory manner. It replaces that with intellectually disabled or intellectual disability in our California code, and it's a way of updating our code and being more respectful in how we operate in Sacramento.
There's a big wave for this, a big push, but there's increased awareness. I think now more than ever, young people are more sensitive to people who are different from themselves. It's being taught in the schools, the Best Buddies program that you talk about that Tim Shriver is part of. Do you think you've seen a lot of change already, just in awareness and the sensitivity?
Oh, absolutely. It's a common sense measure, and this actually came to us from members of the community who are very involved with Best Buddies and the Special Olympics and the Shriver family. That's why we named it after them, to honor them for all the work that they've put into the community. So, and it passed both houses of the legislature and is on its way to the governor.
But you have to wonder, is it the word or is it always the intent of the word? I can say anything, just the way you talk to your dog. You're the worst dog in the world, you're the worst dog, but it's the intent. Like if you're saying something that has a different meaning, then
sure.
Any word can be powerful.
Absolutely, I agree with you. You can say something that you clearly have the intent to hurt someone with, or you could have use that same word in simply a discussion format. It's not meant to be offensive. It's simply the topic of discussion. But again, in our California code, I think it was appropriate to update the language to a more respectful term, even though the code wasn't meant to be offensive to anyone.
Maybe just to bring some more increased awareness. There is another bill out there right now that would give juveniles who are sentenced to life without the possibility of parole the possibility of having a hearing so that they could alter that sentence. Tell us what your view is on this.
Sure. The first one was a good bill. This is an example of what I would consider a bad bill. SB 9 is going to give these people who committed these horrific crimes, we're not talking about small crimes, we're talking about vicious murders that were committed, and they were committed at the time that these individuals were juveniles and they were sentenced. This would give them the opportunity to have their sentence reduced to life without parole. Excuse me. And it's trampling on the rights of the victims. To have to relive this, to have to watch a resentencing process. We have to think about the victims and their rights.
Those who argue against this, though, they say that they were juveniles who committed this, and some of them weren't the gunmen, so to speak. They were in the car when perhaps a murder happened.
Well, every case has its own circumstances, but again, these were not minor crimes. These were committed with intent, where the individuals actually participated and had the intent to participate, and they were convicted of these crimes.
What about the cost differences as far as just keeping them in prison forever or allowing them to have a hearing?
There are costs associated, but again, I go back to the rights of the victims. These are the people that lost their loved ones, and we should always put the victims' rights first.
All right, Allan Mansoor, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you.